So my news desk is a software as a service company in the cross-section between media, PR, and digital. So that means that we are very interested and also proud to be a part of one of the bigger trends right now in this industry. And that is how we see how brands are transforming and start working more like media houses. We have had several of those examples already on stage, right? So I won't get into that much about Red Bull because we shared that just a few minutes ago. But interesting with this one is also to get a bit deeper. Alexander Koppel will tell you all about it in a few minutes as well. Is that they are spending heaps of money. That's my question to Tesco as well. So a brand is spending a lot of money to produce valuable, really interesting content. But they're also licensing it out to other media houses, right? So they more or less earn more money on the media side than selling the soft drinks. We'll see if that is true or not. This is another great example of a brand that has taken this trend. They set up a brand newsroom, organized, talented crew of people with decision power during the Super Bowl that had the power at when not the lightning struck, but when it got all dark, that they could do this campaign in real time. I would say that not many brands could pull that off, right? Especially the big ones, has to have a huge decision process on who's going to okay what. But this was a huge success, as you probably know. Good example. Third one, if you're all in here thinking that it's only the big consumer brands that have the power to do this, or the resources. This is a great example of in this case, Cisco, running their own online newsroom. Multimedia newsroom, online newsroom, digital newsroom. And this is actually the old press room. It's on their website, and the audience is broader than just journalists or just media, not just, right? It's all the influencers out there. It could be an influential person on Twitter, an analyst, former employees, current employees, employees to be, etc., etc. So it's a place for a company, for a brand, to collect, to share, publish, more or less manage all their content that they are producing themselves. Very good example. But it all started with this one, right? Ivy Lee, the father of the press release, over 100 years ago, wrote this press release about a train accident and the perspective of the company that was involved in it. If you look 100 years later, the press release more or less looked the same. Would you agree? It's very text-written, it's some quotes, it's some facts. So when we started My News Desk, that was a response, because we came from the website. That was a response towards this. It has to be able to do this a bit smarter, a bit more effective, in a great way. So we created My News Desk 10 years ago, before the social media took off, and that played us very well in hands. We are right now still a very small company, 100 people, located in Asia, in Singapore, here in London, and in Nordic countries and Germany. So we are challenging the PR, the industry, or the wire services. That's our passion, to see if we can change PR in some way and empower brands to tell the story in a better way. So I use this model that I stole from Edelman Digital and simplified a bit. It's actually these three strategies or trends on how you see it, how brands work the media or the changing media landscape today. First, we have the owned media, and that's the newsroom or the website, the controlled space that a brand has. Then you have the paid media, which we talked a lot about in the panel, right? Forbes explained how they are doing it. Inviting brands, companies, to share their stories in the editorial space. It's called advertorials, it's called sponsoring, etc., etc. And then we have the traditional PR side of things, which is the earned media. I'll share just a few thoughts on all of those three. But I can tell you that much, that we are all in this together as a marketer, as a publisher, we have to understand that all of this that we're talking about today will not go away. So we have to have some kind of strategy. So what we're doing right now is just trial and error. We try a lot of different things. And most of the companies out there are trying all of the three. So I'll start with a multi-channel strategy. That's the one when you see big brands with all the social media platforms sort of all over their websites. The Pinterest. I mean, many of us don't even know what you can do on those platforms, right? The Pinterest, the Instagram, only used by younger people. Anyone? This one is when you buy editorial space. In this case, can you see who's sponsoring or who is delivering this media? It's HSBC up in the right-hand corner. Tells you that this is a totally brand-governed media platform regarding all, more or less a business news site. So what would be the sort of case, or why should a brand do like this? Why have their own media? Because very often, media always tend to have the traffic, right? A lot of you in here today from media. So you have the traffic, and as a brand, we're interested in getting into that traffic. But we also lose out of some control. And what's worse, we don't get any engagement from this. It's just publishing still. You can definitely sort of question me on that, but that's my view at least. The third one is the controlled space. That's the newsroom. That's sort of the area where I am a bit more interested than the others. I follow all three, but this is sort of where I can make it change. So in this case, it's Intel. A nice interface, full of really sort of good coverage. Journalists that they pick up from Forbes, Wall Street Journal, et cetera, really qualitative journalists, really qualitative photographers, copywriters, et cetera, delivering this content in real time, data-driven, in order to give the user, as we talk about all the time, or the media consumer, the best ever experience, and it's for free. So it goes totally towards the paid wall discussion, right? The challenges. I would say we have plenty of challenges, but these are the three ones that I find a bit interesting to use. We could organize like media. A brand will hire journalists, media-savvy people, videographers, et cetera, to be able to do this, to have the decision power when they set up a physical brand newsroom. It could also be freelancers, et cetera. It doesn't have to be sort of the bigger brands doing this. We are running 5,000 newsrooms today when this is happening and it's evolving. Think like the media. We have had lots of advice already these few hours in how to think in multimedia, in real time, and also prolong a story for a longer time. Sort of the Red Bull, we still talk about it, right? It was months ago. What is coming after that? What's the next thing that we'll do? Multiple screens, multiple channels. How can we reach out from our media to all other media in a good way and link in between? So what I'm saying, and also if you look at that header, like going from press release to media house, I don't think that we should be fooled that every brand will be their own media, but they could think like the media. So we're very proud to be the media or the press partner to Guardian regarding the newsroom. So here you can follow all the news, all the speakers, and all the news that is happening right now, and have a look at it. And regarding the questions, taking that it's just a few seconds away from lunch, I have a Twitter handle. It's @pingman. Or you can just post a tweet in the tweet flow. We're pretty active there, as some of you have seen. And I'll answer the questions there. Okay?
Great.
That's all.
That's fantastic. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.